Sometimes it seems that nothing is as black and white or simple as the beginning, middle and end, but for narrative purposes, this shall be the structure presented. In youth, nightmare of stick-like figures disturbed the artist referred to hereon, until a reawakening back to a reality which took time to readjust to. In comfort, he tried but could not forget the imagery or experience encountered in this sleep. Externalization through drawing helped explore the realms perceived, leading to an exploration of this means of expression. As the expression evolved, so did the dream. Other beings visited the artist, and it is remembered that at least on one occasion, a being visited his reality. Fascination and obsession gripped the boy in all forms of empathy for his own experiences with extraterrestrial beings. In school, the fascination remained, but it was not reciprocated through education. Further artistic expression was embraced in his studies. Studies of the student were never really considered, but were never truly contemplated. Progression of artistic practice moulded the artist, and with age came more experiences and more kinship of those in pursuit of exploration and experimentation. The opportunity to explore his mind through various mediums was embraced. The visual, verbal and videoed variations of vocabulary were developed throughout his education. The imagination became vivid, and as the inner realms of creativity flourished, the reality and deadlines and the notion of the degree slipped away. A wild mind sought a wild life and found plenty of satisfaction in a life shared with the culture of the time. So much dreaming and life was eventually contrasted by the reality and death of one of those who also shared this bohemian adventure. Whereas the free-roaming spirit followed the soul in its journey, now the mind and self confronted the emotions pertained by unwanted occurrences. The artist's imagination still worked, but cracks were starting to show in his demeanour, until the crack became a break, a splinter in the mind. Accusations were cast on close acquaintances. Turmoil was set in motion. A flood of mentality being held back began gushing through. Self-medication and rock-bottom escapism continued, but it is all ill-advised in its ability to go beyond the moment and aid one's long-term predicaments. A return home might have proven that familiar surroundings remained the same, yet he that perceived them was not. The individual continued to function in some capacity, but the individual was broken. Paranoia and conspiracies dreamt by the artist seemed real. He was undiagnosed by professional opinion, and this was soon sought and obtained. A new home for many months and treatment for mental illness followed diagnosis and review. Even though he tried to reject the help he was given, he was never given up on himself and learned to trust what seemed so foreign to him. The artistic practice continued in these new places of accommodation until there was nothing left for him to draw. So the artist began to draw nothing. Forms and technique were developed to utilize a period of disregard for preconception and the embrace of intuition and improvisation. The artists began to recognize themselves as an artist. The inner world became free once again, but this flowed into the outer world in the manner that an illness of the mind might allow. The experimentation of artistic practice was brought home, and eventually the fear of the outside world turned back into a familiar reality. More avenues of creativity were explored with this new discovery and epiphany of creativity. Acceptance of the self and satisfaction of pursuits allowed for acceptance of others and care of surroundings. The artist had matured. The battle of ages had settled into an earnest way of life. There is still sadness and there is still doubt. There are still struggles and mountains to climb, but to find a place inside where peace and acceptance are present gives the journey less peril and makes the artist consider: is it that I were so alone when joined by others on this journey of solitude, or would it be that we are in a unity of our individualization and diversity of being? You must find your own truth, but I hope that it will come without harm, and I wish that we also take caution by the warnings of pathways placed by others who do not want us to fall prey to the same dangers as they encountered themselves.